When most people go on vacation, they do it to relax. Others, however, like a little less relaxation and a little more courting death. Fortunately, there are a variety of death-defying tourist destinations scattered around the world. So no matter how you'd like to stare death in the face, you've got a choice. We have prepared a list of the most thrilling and dangerous locations in the world. If you'd like your holiday to come with a side of danger, these places are just for you. Otherwise, steer well clear. Trolltunga, Norway. Trolltunga, or Troll's Tongue, is one of the most famous tourist sites in Norway, and it's not hard to understand why when you see the slab of rock perched on top of a cliff overlooking the stunning Lake Ringadalsvatnet. This rock sits 700 meters in the air, making it an exceptionally dangerous vantage point, especially given lack of guardrailing around the cliff. Even the hike to get to the rock takes around 8 to 10 hours and descends 900 meters. An Australian woman fell to her death from the point this year. It's thought this is the first recorded death at the site. El Caminito del Rey, Spain. El Caminito del Rey, aka the world's most terrifying walkway, reopened this March after being closed for 14 years because of a number of deaths. El Caminito del Rey is more than 3 kilometers long and runs along the dangerously steep walls above Desfiladero de los Gitanos Gorge in Spain. There have been 5 deaths between 1999 and 2000, but that doesn't stop countless people from making the hike every year. The pathway has fallen into disrepair over the years, and that's something of an understatement. In many places, all that remains of the pathway are rusted metal rails, leaving the most daring no choice but to look straight down at the rocks below rather than at a nice secure wooden path. Many of the support beams are rusted through, and in some places, there's no choice but to climb carefully along the side of the mountain. Miyakijima Island, Japan. Miyakijima sits above a chain of volcanoes in the Pacific Ocean, and in the past 100 years, the volcanoes have erupted 6 times. As a result, huge clouds of ash and toxic sulfur dioxide filled the air, making a large portion of the land uninhabitable. The island was evacuated and remained empty for 5 years, but in 2005, people began to return. Now nearly a third of the island is off limits thanks to the poisonous gases, and residents and visitors must wear gas masks to protect themselves against the toxic air. Half Dome, Yosemite National Park, California. Climbing to the summit of the Half Dome in Yosemite National Park is one of the most famous day hikes in the United States. But thanks to its popularity, the area is often crowded, with scores of tourists waiting their turn to reach the peak. The almost vertical climb to the top has cables to help hikers make their way to the top. According to HikeHalfDome.com, the peak sees an average of 12 to 15 deaths each year. Hiking up Half Dome takes an entire day, during which you'll climb over 1,500 meters or 5,000 feet, burn anywhere from 4,000 to 9,800 calories, and climb the last 120 meters, 400 feet, nearly vertical, with the assistance of metal cables. And that's where many of the problems start to occur. Hikers are discouraged from undertaking the climb when conditions are wet, because the combination of slippery cables and slippery rocks can be deadly. So deadly, in fact, that the bottom part of the cliff on the same side as Mirror Lake is known as the death slabs. Even when it's not wet and slippery, accidents are still well documented. Ilha da Queimada Grande, Snake Island, Brazil. Hidden somewhere off the coast of Brazil, this island is widely recognized as the most dangerous place on the planet. The reason for this is quite simple. This place is full of one of the most venomous snakes in the world, Bothrops. Researchers estimate that about 5 snakes per square meter live on the island. There are several stories of people succumbing to the deadly predators in no time at all. One of these stories recalls a lighthouse keeper who was attacked by the snakes and died. Snake Island's lighthouse has been automated ever since that fatality, and the Brazilian government has prohibited any visitors from setting foot there. Elephant Kingdom in Chonburi, Thailand. In Elephant Kingdom, Thailand, at a crocodile farm, the owner leases out a small semi-closed raft space for tourists to come visit, see, and feed crocodiles. The raft is a thin wooden one, balanced on plastic barrels that has net enclosures halfway around it. The shack has a roof, too. The people get inside the enclosure and are given fishing rods to feed the crocs. They use beef or meat pieces attached to the rods and dangle the rods before the crocodiles. The reptiles then jump out of the water to catch the meat and their food. There are tourists who also tease the crocs by dangling the meat in front of them and then pulling it up as the hungry animals reach for it. Alnwick Gardens. Because regular non-deadly gardens lack a certain sense of adventure, Dame Percy, the Duchess of Northumberland, decided to make the gardens of Alnwick Castle something extra special. When she found herself at the head of the Alnwick household, she also inherited gardens that had long been neglected. Originally thinking that she was going to include a section of plants known for their healing properties, she realized that wasn't as much fun as plants that were poisonous. The result is a gated area on the grounds known as the Poison Garden, and it's full of warnings and plants that can cause certain death. Even though visitors are a relatively safe distance from the plants and can't actively smell or touch them, some have fainted from the toxic fumes that are released into the air. Mount Huashan, China. The rickety wooden plank path that runs along the edges of Mount Huashan has been described as the most dangerous hike in the world, and it's not hard to see why. There are few handholds along the path, and at one point the planks fall away entirely, leaving walkers to make their way using footholds in the rock. It's thought that approximately 100 people lose their lives each year on Mount Huashan. It consists patches of treacherous stairs, steep mountains, rickety planks, and clumsy iron stairs that do their best to dampen the spirit. No matter how strong, fit, and daring, be ready to feel slightly dizzy as you look down from a height of 7,080 feet, with nothing assuring to cling on to. Devil's Pool, Zambia. If you are looking for a taste of life on the edge, this just has to be the place. Only a slippery, submerged lip of rock stand between the bathers and a 100-meter drop over the world's largest waterfall. The Devil's Swimming Pool is certainly aptly named. It is created each year at the fringes of Victoria Falls, when the dry season reduces water levels, to create what has been likened to the ultimate infinity pool. Hundreds of thrill seekers descend on the falls, on Zambia's border with Zimbabwe, clambering across rocks and wading through shallows across the precipice to reach the pool. The most daring visitors jump in and allow themselves to be carried toward the falls at terrifying speed. They are just inches from the edge when the rock lip brings them to a halt as the raging waters of the Zimbabwe crash over the edge a few feet away. For most of the year, anyone foolish enough to enter the waters would be instantly swept to their deaths. But when levels drop, the natural rock walls of the Devil's Swimming Pool come close enough to the surface to form a barrier and stop swimmers being carried away. Huayna Picchu, Peru. Huayna Picchu, also referred to as Huayna Picchu, is a tall peak that towers 1,180 feet over the ancient lost city of the Incas called Machu Picchu, which sits on a mountain ridge above the Sacred Valley in Peru. An ancient staircase climbs a reported 1,000 feet in less than a mile. It is steep and said to be treacherous in places. It's why some refer to it as the hike of death. But the payoff of making the 1-hour climb is a spectacular view of Machu Picchu. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, then please press the like button and subscribe to the channel. You can see the bell icon below. Please click on it to receive notifications of my future videos. I will see you soon, and thanks for watching.